When you stand praying, all you got to do is just believe, and you shall have whatsoever you pray. Just believe.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosalind Farrell, and I will be your host for tonight's Just Breathe podcast. I am so excited because I have my very bestie friend, sister that I have known for over 30 years. So I'm excited to talk to her and her husband. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Gloria and Todd Richards into the podcast tonight. Hi, Gloria.
Hi. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. You can't hear me?
You can hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
So can you hear me?
We're on StreamYard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell?
Now, can you hear me okay?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, no. The host.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Okay,
there we're going to try this again.
Yay!
Yay! This technology, honey, is about to
I know.
devil is a liar. We're going to keep it moving. Hey, Todd. Hey, Gloria. Thank you for joining me on tonight's Just Breathe podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you on the very thing of discovering your story behind your entrepreneurial journey. Both of you have built a thriving business together, and the legacy that you're creating through your leadership, through your faith, through community, and your exceptional cuisine. I've had the honor of visiting Riosity about a month ago, and I love the food. And I think Gloria is teasing me on tonight being in front of the restaurant because the food is absolutely amazing. The customer service is amazing. So I'm excited to speak with both of you on this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to start by just both of you telling us a little bit about yourself. Who is Todd and Gloria Richards beyond the restaurant?
Well, I can start. Gloria, beyond the restaurant, I'm Todd's wife. That's who I am. I'm Todd's wife. I don't take that lightly. I enjoy that role, and that is my most important role these days. I am Todd's wife.
She said beyond the restaurants. That's at the restaurant all the time. You know, one thing, you know, most people in Gloria, and the running joke I always have, it took me 30 years to get the cheerleader, you know, because she didn't date me in high school. That just tells me it's about perseverance and honesty and faith and trust. And so, like Gloria said, I'm honored to have her as my wife, but, you know, also as her husband, you know, taking on certain responsibilities to make sure that Gloria is well taken care of as she does me is of the highest priority. You know, and then outside of the restaurant, you know, I'm a chef, so I have, you know, another day job. But also, you know, we're just building a core of, and group of people that we want to be around. Our model is really simple. It's got to be fun, interesting, and sustainable. And if it's not that, we don't really want to do it. And that's how we kind of live our lives. If we're not having fun, we don't want to do it. So it's not sustainable. And that's just the way that, you know, we encourage people to move forward.
Yes, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. How did the vision of Curiosity begin?
You know, that's a good question. You know, Curiosity was really the space. One thing, just with my experience in the restaurant business, that you never just say, I'm going to open this in this space and just, you know, and do it. You have to go and sit in the neighborhood and walk around and kick the tires of the building and understand what's needed in the neighborhood. We're in a south suburb of Atlanta, McDonough. And, you know, fortunately, we have a lot of chain and commercial restaurants around here. So there's a little bit of sea of sameness. And we want to be an oasis, you know, in the neighborhood. Plus, you know, unfortunately for us, we live right around the corner from the restaurant. So we're not only, you know, part of the neighborhood, you know, physically in having a restaurant, we live in this neighborhood. We don't even see a street light going home. So when we really start talking about Curiosity, you know, we had dreams of opening another type of barbecue restaurant. But when we got in here and looked at the kitchen size wasn't big enough to put like a full smoker and items like that inside of it. So we still use the QUE part, you know, representing barbecue. But the Riosity came out of really what, you know, houses barbecue. A lot of things such as grilled meats, you know, smoked fish, you know, grilled shrimp, things like that. And that's where really the concept came from. But it was organic because we really wanted to understand what was the neighborhood needing. And then it needed an oasis and a respite from, you know, the sea of sameness that we have in our zip code.
Wow, I love that. That's interesting. I'm glad that you shared that because it ties in. I love the fact that number one, both of you led by I am Todd's wife, I am Gloria's husband. And you have, I mean, just walking into this with that foundation, with that mindset speaks volumes on how you even led in with this conversation. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for sharing like where the whole name came from, because now I know. Yes. How do you balance marriage, family, and entrepreneurship?
Ooh. Well, that is not easy. We are actually, I would say we're new in the business. We're about maybe 15 weeks in.
Correct.
And so this is still new to us, but it is definitely a wake-up call. The balance definitely needs to be there in order for us to be successful. So we are just now, I can't even say we have it all together yet, but we are working through the kinks of trying to maintain a balance and be able to live. But it's not easy. We have to realize that, beyond the business, once we lock the doors at night, we're still a married couple. I still like to go out. I still like to have game night with my husband. It is not easy because there is no time, but we have to find a way to make that work for us. I don't think speaking honestly, we have not yet. We haven't had a date really since the restaurant opened. So there are things that we need to put in place so that we make sure that we're still taken care of.
Yes.
To get the balance, and to round out what Gloria is saying, from the entrepreneur side, the things that we've done successfully in the restaurants, restaurant business does not necessarily translate to household business. There's things, of course, that we have the same, such as budgets. We have utilities and those things that we have to pay for. But the kindness that we give our guests sometimes doesn't translate to the kindness that you have to give each other at home. And a lot of times, we approach it, you can approach it the same way, but you really can't. You really have to approach it differently because there's a different level of empathy that one has to have for a husband and wife than they have to have for a customer. The motto is that the customer is always right. And that's true to a certain extent, and then you say, well, your husband or your wife are always right too, but the pathway to understanding why they're always right can be challenged when you take on a business inside the marriage as well.
Wow. That is amazing. I love it. Love it, love it. Becoming one. And Todd, you said that like your faith is strong. And although, you say you haven't dated for 15 months, just spending that time and having an understanding, having a listening ear that you guys are able to pick up where one might be lagging. So I just love the fact that it's like this glue. Yes. What does hospitality mean to you?
Let me go.
Yes.
I mean, hospitality takes on so many different realms, but the honest, or simple answer is leadership and servitude. And just because you're in servitude, to a guest does not mean that you are owed anything or they owe you anything. It's just the leadership, giving them kindness and genuine understanding. One thing that we pride ourselves is that the amount of or the lack of cell phone use in our restaurants. People use their phone to take pictures, but they put the phone down and enjoy each other's company. And that means that we've created a place where it's genuine to come in and have a great time. And anytime a person is not, that's where Gloria's leadership really comes in, because she can go out there and smooth over any situation. Where me, I'm probably a little bit more brash. Not probably a little bit. I am more brash, than her. But that's where the balance of it comes in, and she can honestly say what those things are that we need to work on. So hospitality, really comes from within. It has to be genuine. It has to be sincere. It is part of service. But you're not a slave either. And everything like that. And that's where you have to balance whether the customer is always right, and when sometimes you have to let customers go.
Yes. So I had to experience the hospitality firsthand, and as soon as I walk through the door, you can feel the welcome. You can feel the ambience. And Gloria went right in, set up hers down, and she was right at it, talking to customers, just very attentive. And I can say the same thing that I experienced at the restaurant is the same thing that I experienced in your home. So transfer, like, I love the fact that, your hospitality is genuine. You care. I mean, Gloria's always been like that. No nonsense, but she knows how to treat people. So love it. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chef Todd, how has your culinary journey shaped your leadership style?
Well, my journey is not the traditional way of getting there. But that's the great thing about the hospitality business. Most people don't necessarily set out to be in hospitality. They just kind of find their way. The journey, started for me coming down here, from Chicago, coming to Atlanta. The first year I came to Atlanta, of course, was a Freaknik, just like everyone in the 90s. The second one was me going to go to Georgia Tech, but I just found my way into a grocery store and they need someone to be a butcher. And I was cutting meat with my dad, my entire childhood. So that was pretty much the transition was natural. And then also, being Chicago and also going to Mayfair, being a musician, the art is already, there. So balancing the art and the science to me is what makes culinary journey, really fun and interesting. I think the sustainability part, though, is that you're always recreating yourself, and you can always find new ways to be yourself inside of this business as well. Gloria as being, a not a newbie, but being in this business or being around me for this long, wow, she has a genuine hospitality about her. So her journey is shorter in a lot of regards compared to others who might struggle with this, from the time that they started in the business.
Yes. So thank you for sharing that, Todd. Just your experience of how you grew up, pouring into your now success. I mean, and then Gloria, you coming in, and it's always we're gonna always continue to learn, right? So
Yeah.
when I know when you first originally launched that you were guaranteed to take on this entrepreneurship, like when since you've been in Atlanta, you've been at it, like going at it, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the fact that you guys can just pour into each other and have those leadership skills, and like I said, just the whole thing of growing into that, and then Gloria, you kicking in and just learning from Todd and everything that he's been doing.
But it's not a one-way street in understanding that, because Gloria has
Mhm.
entrepreneurial spirit,
Yes.
prior to us being here, and some of the same isms that she's had in her business, we take on inside of ours. So it's still a learning process, just like our marriage. Our marriage is still a learning process, and
Yes.
understanding who each other are and how do we get there. And it's not necessarily one dominates the other. We just have great leadership roles and great qualities that balance each other.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, you are absolutely right. Because I watched her when she was handling like, the kids, and she was one of the talked me into going into the classroom with kids. And I used to call and say, "No, this is not for me." But just her spirit on how her patience with the kids, and I'm like, I don't know how you do this every day.
Yeah.
Well, I told her she perfect for she a teacher. She deal with kids, and she perfect for the restaurant
I
Oh
business.
know.
yes,
You
Yeah.
dealing with
because
kids.
I was calling her
Yeah.
on a daily, like, no, I'm not gonna be able
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
It's something.
Yes. Which leads to the next question, Gloria. What role do you play in ensuring the success and growth of the business?
I think I've taken on a very supportive role. Todd is, he's amazing at what he does. I've seen him in action. I've read the articles. I've seen the news interviews. So I know he knows this, and it only makes it more fun to have somebody who's just so highly regarded, by my side while I'm doing this. And I just play that supportive role. I just take my cue from him and I just move forward with it. One thing that he is more brash than me. We talk about this all the time when it comes to the employees. I really take care of the employees. The employees enjoy coming to work. On their off days, they come in and sit with us for hours, so that
Yes.
we try to create just an environment of love, support, family away from family. I try to do all that because that does add value to the business. And in the long run, I know it'll help. Same thing with my repeat customers. They've become family. We're on a first name basis. I am really, really, I'm tied in. I'm tied in. And that creates, in the long run, a success like no other.
I think Gloria is really being modest about what she does here, because a lot of the articles and the comments that we see in our reviews, her name is called directly.
Mhm.
And when you have someone who's in the front who is standing tall and representing not only herself and myself, but our entire family and all the employees inside of it. That to me is again what genuine hospitality is. So she says she's in a supporting role, but I think that's really not giving the full picture of what she does. She's in a leadership role. I mean, she leads this restaurant. I mean, I travel a lot. I mean, I still have other businesses that we do, and when I'm not here, she's here. And when I walk in, I already know what the tone is being set because she's here. So I know Gloria's being very modest, but I just want everyone to know and not take what she's saying as a diminished role. She is actually the one who runs this restaurant. I'm the one who supports her in doing so.
Aww.
That is such a blessing. Oh my goodness. I love it. Okay, because I'm keep it going here because I know you guys are busy tonight. If there was one thing or anything that you could give an inspiring entrepreneur who had a dream to do entrepreneurship, can you give them some encouraging words? If they're afraid to start, if they're afraid to take that jump, take that leap of step, what encouraging words would you leave with them?
You want to go?
I'll start. This is something you don't hear often. You hear, a lot of the cliche statements. Just go for it. Just do it. Just make it happen. Do it scared. Do it overnight. But one thing, I'm going to say something a little different. Research, meditate, pray, and find yourself comfortable with what it is you want to pursue. Find yourself knowledgeable about what it is you want to pursue, because the more you know, the better you'll be and the more successful you'll be. People don't take the time to research. That's why I feel like, some restaurants close, some businesses don't do well. I understand the jump in mentality. I do understand that, but that's not always the best thing. So sometimes you just have to sit back and you have to let God. You have to let God. You have to do your research. You have to find out, and then there's no way you can do it all on your own. So God plays a major role in all of our success. I say to anybody who listens, everybody talks about, you're amazing, you're great, you're a motivator. That's not me. That is not me. That is my God. It's the God in me. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take it for granted.
Amen, Gloria. And I love the way, the research, that's so important.
It is.
To do your research, to just, take a step back and just breathe and allow God to
Yes.
download.
Yes.
You don't make any mistakes.
Right.
So I like that part of the research, yes.
Todd?
I take a lot of what Gloria says. I use the analogy when you learn how to swim, people tell you to just jump in the pool, which is really, really great to do as long as there's a lifeguard on board. And so jumping in does not necessarily mean that that you're going to succeed. The success rate in restaurants is very, very small. Especially for that. So you have to research, but also you have to be a nerd. I mean, you just have to be a straight nerd about everything about what you do, and you have to celebrate being a nerd. People would say, that's the biggest compliment someone can give me is say that you're a nerd, because I know more than anyone else about what I'm doing. And the second part of it, though, is that the things that you don't know about, you need to hire people smarter than you in those areas, to make up for your own deficiencies.
Right.
And you have to be honest with yourself about what those deficiencies are.
And what your limits are.
And I always tell everyone this: if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. It just does not exist. If you don't have a plan and if it's not written, it does not exist at all.
Yes. Wow, this has been amazing. So my last question as we wrap things up tonight is, when you look back over the years, what do you hope that people will remember most about Todd and Gloria Richards and the legacy of Curiosity?
Let me go.
Yeah, you can go.
I mean, the simple thing is that we're for the people.
Yes.
I mean, we are here for the people. And it's very simple to say, but it's very hard to do. That 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 understanding that uh, we are reactionary to what people want. We provide a service, we provide a place, we provide a respite, but we are still reactionary to what people want. And so we have to, have a open ear to our customers, which means that we have to have an open ear to each other. And, through kindness, we can just make this one block, a little bit better, and then we can expand. We can make one neighborhood a little bit better. And then we can make one city a little bit better just by the food that we serve and the genuine hospitality that we have. And if we continue to do that, then our legacy is not necessarily about how much money we make, though we want to make a lot of money. It's really about how the lives of the people that we've made better around us.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, is there anything else I would like for you guys to please share where your restaurant is, anything that you're working on, any upcoming events? Please feel free to share at this time.
So we are located at 1931 Jonesboro Road in McDonough, Georgia. Like Todd said, that's about 30 minutes south of Atlanta. It's a really, really growing and thriving city. And we just want people to come out, give us a try, and let us sit back and let us take care of you. Because being here is an experience. And when I sit the customers down, that's what I say. Enjoy your experience. Your server will be with you. Because it is an experience. We want to create an experience. We want to do something different. So we have an upcoming menu change that we're excited about. We're going into our summer menu, which is very exciting. And anything else we got coming up?
Yes, the restaurant, of course, we will have several features coming up. We'll be at several events around there. Also, I have a new show coming out called Flavors of Atlanta, where we showcase restaurants of Atlanta. And then season 5 of the podcast, Roots Art Soul podcast on Heritage Radio Network. That one will be picking up in about a month as well. And then, of course, Gloria and I have some very, very celebratory birthdays coming up too. So if you don't see us in the restaurant, does not mean that we're not here. It's just that we have some milestone birthdays coming up in August, September. So.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. This has been an amazing, amazing conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey of faith, togetherness, love. And I love the fact that you pour out to people, your kindness that you share. Creating that community is very important when you are dealing with the community and people and hospitality, as you just explained. So thank you so much for this conversation, and hopefully someone that, comes along and listens, that someone is encouraged by your message, encouraged by your strength, encouraged by things that you have done, the research and the things that you have built together as a unit. So thank you again for sharing your journey with us tonight. So before you are welcome. You are welcome. I've been waiting if you ever I'm telling anybody that comes on, if you are in Atlanta, Georgia, you have to go visit. You have to go experience it for yourself. And when I tell you, from the time I walked through the door until I left, it was an amazing experience. The food is delicious. Yes. So if anyone aspires to be my very special guest on the Just Breathe podcast, please reach out to me at whatisyourdetour@gmail.com. I would love to have you as my special guest. Again, thank you, Todd. Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you get back to your evening. Remember that weeping may endure for a night, but our joy will come. Joy is here. Joy will come in the morning. So thank you, everyone, for listening tonight. Again, thank you, Todd and Gloria. Go and have an amazing rest of your evening. And let you get back to your customers.
Thank you.
Breathe bless the Lord.